Alright guys, I don't think I've ever done this before. I want to show you all the equipment I carry inside of my XJ, my Jeep, whenever I go off-roading. 1995 Jeep Cherokee has a 3-inch lift. I do have a CB radio. I have a vented hood with extract fans. I have a winch, fog lights. You can't really see it, but I also have a light bar. I love doing nighttime trails, nice and cool. The kids love it. I am riding on 31-inch tires. I do not have this sway bar disconnect quite yet, or lockers, but those are next on the list. Have the Schmitty-built bumpers front and back with the tire carrier. And that's the quick walk around my Jeep. Let's see some of the stuff I have. First of all, I have a high lift jack. I rarely use it. I've used it a few times. Only reason why I have it is because it was on sale at Harbor Freight and I had a mount for it. So, and all the extra rope on there, like here, that's because it was making a lot of noise when driving on the road, which got pretty annoying. And then I have extra here. It's always good to have extra rope. You never know when you'll need it. Then I have my 5 gallons of gas. Yes, it is full, ready to go. And I don't have a spout for it, but I do have this a manual pump, which helps to fuel other people without having to take off the tank, unless if I need to fuel it myself. Moving on to my equipment. First and foremost, in the little bag here is my lighter, a few other miscellaneous items, medication, and of course the first aid kit. I have it inside of a little quick grab bag so I can put it around my shoulder when doing hikes and stuff and on the trail. It's always good to have some rope. I have a couple things, a paracord, a regular cord. It's good to for tying things down, or you never know, camping and whatnot. Then I have, very important, wipies. I have a hammock, a few other odds and ends, and then I have my tools. All my sockets are on my right one, the left one are my wrenches and screwdrivers and wrenches and vice grips and all that. I have my air down kit, pulls the stem out so you can air down quickly. I have my flashlights. I have 2 handhelds, a big one here, the other one's inside the cab. I have 2 headlamps. And then of course my compressor to air him back up when on the trail. That just has miscellaneous things that you would need for recovery, like say a dead battery, jumping it. I also just got this for jumping batteries. It's amazing how small they are now. Then I have the gloves and the winch controller. I do have a cabled winch. Then I have my different various snatch straps, depending on who I'm trying to save. I have 2 tree savers, 2 snatch straps. I have 3 the shackles. I also have 4 on the bumpers. I have the, what's it called? I have the snatch block. I have a shovel, a tire repair kit. I do have zip ties. I have an extra old serpentine belt. I have a bottle jack with wood. All the little miscellaneous hose pieces to make a repair. All the fluid I ever need. I always carry a full thing of radiator fluid. The white one, I usually just carry water. I have all the oil, extra oil, filter, gear oil, lubricating oil, brake fluid, power steering fluid, ATF fluid, miscellaneous items, brake cleaner, anything you might need on the trail. So as you can see, that's my setup of what I carry. So here's the hood. I do have a 2-inch spacer on it, right here. I got the spacers before I had the louvers. I might actually remove the spacer and see if it improves or doesn't with the cooling. People say I get 2 different points of views, but you can see the cowl. But they say sometimes you'll get some air from the engine into the cowl, into the cab. Occasionally, not really. But I did spray paint. These were chrome, or aluminum I should say. I spray painted them black, off the shelf car paint. and the hood was black, but it was really deteriorated. You can see the little cracks there. I actually bought the hood off of someone on OfferUp, and they really just let that thing sit. It was cracked, but the louvers are already installed, so I just swapped my stock hood with this one, so I still have the red hood. And then I just sanded this one down. I wet sanded it, painted it, and I think it came out nice. It kind of looks like carbon fiber, even though it's a metal hood. And then the last thing is people say that, well, what about when it rains? Want to get the engine components wet? Yes and no. It has to rain a lot for that to happen. And I live in San Diego, so rain isn't the number one thing here. Usually it's sunny or partly cloudy. So I haven't had any issues, but when you turn it on, you really can feel the wind being extracted from the two fans. And it does help me. I can now use my air conditioning while on the trail. I haven't done extreme temperatures quite yet, but I've been in the 90s, very, very close to 100, and have no issues now. That was my main thing, is I wanted to be able to off-road with my air conditioning. And you know how that goes with these vehicles. I did do a whole new radiator, new hoses. I flushed the whole system, but it is all stock with the mechanical fan and the electric fan. I might do a switch for the electric fan to override it so it's on. That would give me one more fan to do, and then I need to add a oil cooler for my transmission. And finally, thinking about upgrading my fan clutch, thermal fan clutch, to a non-thermal fan clutch, which means it will be 100% at all times. And then if I do that, I probably will have no issues. But this is it. This is Big Red. That's what her name is. I didn't name her, someone else did, my buddy. So complete walkthrough. Not bad for a 1995 with almost 300,000 miles. The bumpers obviously are not stock. I did install those. I relocated the license plate, and I did get a fancy little LED light, so it's legal. It was easier to do that than running it on the tire, like some people say, because the tire does open and close, and you have to do an external line. Like you could see my the line from my CB radio, which goes up to the antenna here. But there she is, 31-inch tires. I just need to get the sway bar disconnects, which is next on my list, along with the lockers. Once I get that, this thing will be able to do almost anything that I would do. I'm not a big or huge into rock crawling, but I do overlanding and mild off-roading. Kids love it. Just so you can see what the setup I have here, I do have a CB radio. Obviously lots of power for my stuff. Charger here, the switch here, and on. That turns on my fans for my hood. This one here turns on my fog lights. And then this one here is my light bar. Besides that, everything else is stock. Oh, I did have the little external speaker for the CB radio, and I also have a horn underneath the hood so I can yell at people. Did upgrade the stereo. But besides that, it's pretty stock. Getting a lot of people asking me my setup here. I bought two 10-inch radiator fans from Amazon just to see how they work, and I bought a switch setup that is actually for LED bars, but the power consumption was below its max capacity. But I had to do standoffs because the blades would spin up against the actual louvers. One of them broke, so I have that baling wire holding it on until you can see the standoff right there. That broke, but I have baling wire holding it until it completely fell, so I just swap out the fan. If it works, leave it. But this is the one that came out really good. The standoffs, the lock nuts, works very well, surprisingly. And I primarily use these only when on the trail. Occasionally, if I'm in traffic and it's really hot, which where I live in San Diego doesn't happen, usually I'll have my son's car seat in here, but it's removed since he's not on this trip. Underneath, only thing I have in here besides the amplifier for the subwoofer, I have a mallet and I have my 2 things for taking the tire off. I keep those separate from all my tools because you never know if that one time I take everything out, I'll need it. And then let's go to the back. This is what it looks like with everything is packed away. My buddy was like, isn't the subwoofer going to buzz? Nope, it's not on the subwoofer. It's very tight. All my fluids and stuff are in there, and my tools, recovery gear, and also, last but not least, my compressor.